I've already got what I want. You've taken quite a liking to it.
This is a continuation of animations with strange controversies. This one, it's a lot to unpack. After further research, and with the progression of events becoming more and more grim, this is what I found. Let's look in to Death Note. I'm assuming most of you know what Death Note is, but I'll explain just to cover my bases. Death Note is an anime and manga series that follows the story of a high school student named Light Yagami who finds a mysterious black notebook titled Death Note that was dropped into the human world because a Shinigami, or death god, this thing, was bored. Light discovers that writing a person's name in the book kills that person in a variety of different ways. He decides to use the Death Note to become the god of a new world that he will create, by killing off criminals, as well as investigators who were catching on to him being Kira. Kira, or Killer, being a name given to him by the general public. The police hunted for Kira and saw him as a criminal, and Kira would stay close to their investigation, ensuring that he was not found out, by any means necessary. Death Note was insanely popular when it came out, especially once it received an anime adaptation. And with it being a popular series, it gained a large fan base. And with a large fan base, some fans would do not so great things, including trying to replicate the Death Note itself, in a more literal sense. And I'm surprisingly not talking about the fan films.
Are you listening?
The apples in the human world are good. They are, how you say, juicy.
Moving on. In 2005, school officials throughout China banned the manga due to students making their own death notes and writing the names of students and teachers in them. There were both kids and adults creating their own death notes in the hopes that it might actually work, or maybe just to blow off some steam. I won't name every instance of this type of thing occurring because it's honestly happened more times than I need to mention. But it was nothing that resulted in violence or assault at the time, from what could be seen. Which leads us to a more unfortunate topic. September 28th, 2007. 2 notes with "I am Kira," written poorly in Japanese, were found near the remains of an unnamed man in Duden Park, located in St. Giles, Belgium. The remains of the victim being 2 thighs and a torso. Both were mutilated and cut cleanly. The remains appeared to be 1 or 2 days old, previously stored in a freezer, and placed in Duden Park long after the victim had passed. The Free University of Brussels is located close by to Duden Park, so police initially suspected that the body parts were placed in the park as a prank by the local med students, but ruled that out after the university stated that it would be impossible for a body to be removed from the moratorium without any staff noticing. With no further doubts about the scene, the police began treating it as a murder. The case is referred to as the Manga murder, for reasons, and the search for the culprit began. But as this case was unfolding, a weird string of events and people were forming around the internet. When looking for more info on the Manga murder case, I happened upon some strange videos. Video after video about the murder case, created by people with single-letter aliases, similar to the character L, the detective leading the search to find Kira in the Death Note series. There was someone actually going by L, and E, and M and V and B and then some. All posting videos with similar visuals. Here we go. Oh my god, oh no. Oh no, no, no. We already started out terribly. This is already bad. Oh my god. No. No. Greetings. For the purpose of What? Letter, film filter. I don't want to watch any more of this. This is like hurting my head. Well, now we're looking at L's theories on the Belgian Manga murder and a message to Kira. They're like actually referring to the person that did this as Kira. Like, this is making me want to vom. Well, it's time to suffer.
You may have seen my preview.
Oh my god, no! No. Are they using one of those freaking kid voice changers? I am very concerned. Now, before I go nuts, I don't know if every video like this is addressing the manga murder case, because some of them don't bring it up at all. I'd like to think that most of these videos are the work of weebs that took it too far, and that they're hopefully embarrassed by this now. LARPing the quite gruesome and unfortunate death of a man who was dismembered, frozen, and then dumped behind a bush, to then be used as some weird fantasy to catch a non-existent Kira. But while the murderer was no Kira, police would soon realize that there was more than one culprit. 4 men were arrested, 3 charged with manslaughter, and 1 charged with failing to provide assistance to a person in danger. That person being the victim, who initially could not be identified due to the state of the remains, but was revealed to be Mr. Sidi Larbi Azobari, a man who was said to have been living with the 3 culprits who had beaten Mr. Azobari to death, dismembered his body, and attempted to dissolve his remains in acid, then discarded his remains in Duden Park, along with 2 notes claiming to be Kira. Investigators say that the beating began after the 3 culprits and the victim had an argument inside their apartment. They requested Mr. Azobari to leave. He refused, which led to the 3 beating him, thus causing his death. Atir and Azmi were more cooperative with the police and confessed to their roles in the crime. But Benaiza was another story. During his trial on June 14, 2013, he went on the run and fled to Libreville in Gabon. Assuming there to be no bilateral extradition treaty between Belgium and Gabon, once his Gabonese residence permit had expired, he was arrested in Libreville on May 15, 2016, through a warrant issued by the Belgian authorities. With cooperation from both countries, Benaiza was brought back to Belgium to serve a 23-year sentence. Which I don't think is enough for brutalizing and mutilating a man, but what do I know? Ultimately, I want to send you off with this message. Death Note is not responsible for the acts of violence inflicted upon Mr. Azobari that day. The killers had fought with the victim about something before his death, then turned violent. And from the looks of it, the notes were placed at the scene more as an afterthought, just to throw off the police and create a bigger controversy around the series that would cause panic and turn eyes away from themselves. Which was unsuccessful. If you have some more insight on the case, or the unfortunate community surrounding the case, please feel free to share. I'm sure it only gets weirder from here.